Hope you like Legacy because I'm going to be playing Dredge with no reserve list cards. If you're new here, make sure you start by hitting the subscribe button. This is something I've been looking forward to for a little while because I do think Dredge has much more playability in the Legacy format than it has been seen for a while. I know there's a guy, I think he goes by that Dredge guy, has been a champion of it, playing a lot of different builds. I really wanted to try build with Outlines Eye Diamond. I tried a while back in paper, and it plays okay. It is kind of all in. So if you're going to be all in, it seems like Lion's Eye Diamond would be a good card to increase the power of your all in. I wanted to try to find a slightly different balance, so I've been trying Lotus Petal. I first tried this actually when Grief was still legal, and that was pretty good, and then Grief gets banned, so I thought I would try Unmask, which is the sort of Grief before the Grief, the force of will of Thoughtseize, so to speak. And it's really good with Cabal Therapy, so you unmask them, you take their best card, you see their hand, you Cabal Therapy, and take one or two more cards. This could be a pretty good turn one play if you don't have anything else going on. And Unmask being 0 mana, you take, if you see there's only one relevant card, you take that to stop you from doing your big thing, and then you go off and do your big thing on turn one. Yes, this deck can kill on turn one, a little less consistent without the Lion's Eye Diamond, but you're less all in as well, so is that better? Probably not, but I wanted to try to see if I can actually make it work. Now, for some reason, you're watching this, you don't really know how Dredge works. Dredge is a mechanic, as you see there at the bottom of the card. If it's in your graveyard, you may instead mill 6 cards when you would draw and then put it in your hand. It was designed to be a sort of recurring thing. It's like, oh, I want this card back, but the cost is I got to mill cards off the top of my deck. Well, we're trying to exploit it by intentionally milling our deck, and we mill into cards that are payoffs by being in the graveyard. Cards like Bridge from Below. Very strange card. It doesn't do anything on the battlefield, but if it's in your graveyard, when your creatures die, you get tokens. Pretty cool. Now, Cabal Therapy is good in the graveyard and in your hand. Usually it's just used in the graveyard, but you can do the play I mentioned. You can also blind name counter spells if you want to go off. You can also target yourself if you have a Dredge card in your hand and you would like to discard it. So some of the other things. Now, this version of the deck, I did borrow from the Challenge Winning List line, and I'm going to be going over those updates in just a minute. But the downside is there's no more Icarid in the deck. What I like about Icarid is if you have it, you discard it, or you mill into it, or whatever. If you're not able to immediately get it, the next turn you will have it. You're not like, it's Narcomoeba or bust. Because if you don't mill into a Narcomoeba, and you don't have a Golgari Thug to cast, you're just not doing anything. So, I am playing the full 8 draw 2 and discard 2. This helps your mulligans. This helps put things in the graveyard. I've gone completely to 0 Putrid Imp because as much as I like the card generally, it's not as good if you're not playing any Icarid. I am still on 2 Breakthrough. It's just the best way to draw the most amount of cards, or in this case Dredge, for the lowest amount of mana. I'm playing the full 12 Dredge. I've seen some people only go on 3 Thug. If I was going to play a 4th Unmask, which I'm kind of considering, I might cut 1 Thug, but I don't love it. Okay, the new lines. I went up 1 Poxwalker. I was already playing 1 in my deck. Now it's playing 2. It does more things you want it to do. I'm not 100% against going back to 1 and playing an Icarid, so I'm still kind of flirting with that idea. But the big new line is the deck is playing 2 Dread Return instead of 1 because it's got this new almost instant win line. Took out the old school, it's close to my heart, but the Flamekin Zealot kill with haste. I want to be able to kill through at 1 ring without combat, all that stuff. So effectively what you're wanting to do is you want to get enough to Dread Return, so 2 Dread Returns to help you find it, and you want to Dread Return a Satoru into play. He is a 2/3 for 2, so he is castable, but whenever him or any other creature, non-token creature, enters, and it wasn't cast, or no mana was spent to cast it, hint, hint, Hogak, you draw a card. But instead of drawing a card, we're going to Dredge. Now, this can be pretty deterministic, because you're either going to Dredge into Narcomoeba, which triggers Satoru again, you keep going, or you're going to Dredge into Therapies, and when you cast Therapy from your graveyard, you trigger your Poxwalkers. So this is why the deck wanted 2 Poxwalkers to help find it more often, which I understand is very good with Satoru. So in that sense, I do like to. I'd like to fit 1 Icarid somewhere. But with Hogak kind of works like a somewhat Poxwalker. That's why I don't know if I need to. So far the deck's been playing decent, but there have been a few situations where I'd mill into a Poxwalker and there's like nothing to do, no creature in play to sack for Cabal Therapy. So if Icarid could come back and do that, that's kind of the situation. But anyway, it really snowballs. You just basically end up dredging your entire library into the second dread return, and then you bring back a Thassa's Oracle and win the game. And by then, you've torn their hand apart with all your therapies, and the game's over. Now, the cool thing about this deck is it has a very consistent, deterministic line once you get Satoru in play, and you start chaining off. But it still does the traditional, like, shred your hand, make some zombies and poxwalkers and just attack you to death, or find a Hogak, and Hogak will just be too big. So the deck still has all of that in it. Now, I think this build is actually pretty strong, as you'll see in the games. The thing I didn't appreciate enough is the sideboard. I basically slightly updated my old sideboard plan, and I think I'm wrong to do that. The biggest thing is Silent Gravestone. Now that I'm up on on Dread Return, Silent Gravestone is less good. I'm more dependent on the graveyard. I still think I like this card for what it's supposed to do, which I mentioned last time. But the main thing it does is it protects my graveyard from certain types of graveyard hate. So this would be Fairy Macabre, this would be Vacuum, Surgical Extraction, and cards like this that do see play in Legacy, especially Surgical Extraction. So it protects my stuff, right, from those kind. And then also, it's a sort of anti-graveyard against the Reanimator decks and other decks that want to use the graveyard like that. So it's kind of a 2-in-1, which is what I like. It just does get worse with relying more on Dread Return. I still had like Iona in the deck, and Flaring Pain I think is okay as a one-of, but if I want to beat the One Ring, I have the Thassa's Oracle line. So there are some changes that probably need to happen to the sideboard. The thing is, it's not so much what the cards in my sideboard are. It's having a sideboard plan. This is what I didn't prepare so far. I was just too excited for the new package and to play it. I didn't really appreciate that. Now, this deck is very fragile, like any combo deck. If they can stop your graveyard, you can't play the game. And so you're playing a bit, I call it a guessing game, but it's more of an educated guessing game, which is here's the kind of graveyard hate they're likely to have with the deck they're playing, and then you play the counter. So if they're playing a Leyline of the Void or Rest in Peace, like permanents that sit and play and say your graveyard don't work, you have to remove them some way. If it's a deck that says exile target player's graveyard, like a Tormod's Crypt or a what's the land, Bajuga Bog, stuff like that, Leyline of Sanctity. This also protects you against targeted discard, things like that. Okay, so with all that being said, there's ways to address the different angles of graveyard hate. So you have to like sort of predict that, not dilute down your plan too much and all these things. So I wasn't really well prepared for that going into the games that I recorded. And you'll see a pretty straight contrast between game one and sideboarded games. So keep that in mind when watching into this. But we're going to go ahead and get into the games. Okay, I've got game number one. I was able to finally get a slightly higher resolution camera. And I think I can tell a difference, but I don't know what it is. The camera is actually meant for photography, so that it looks like the angle's like a little off. But either way. So turn one, I have Careful Study. I draw 2 cards and discard 2 Dredgers. Pretty good. And a Lotus Petal. Nice. Second one. Okay, I am going off. So I'm going to Dredge 5. A 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a Satoru and some lands. Not that great. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So no Narcomoebas, which suggests I'm not going to have any other action. But seems like a decent turn one. Now my opponent definitely knows what's up. I discard a land. Interesting. I go to unmask him, and it looks like we're playing Karn Forge. Planar Nexus I need to respect a little bit more because that can turn on Tron all by itself. So all the Tron lands, you just need 2. I think taking Karn was right because he could have easily turned 2 the Karn. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, there's a Narcomoeba. I was like, yes, finally. We did it. So I'm wondering. Oh, I had another one. Okay. This is a lot of dredging, as you can see. Boing, boing, boing. Oh, yeah. 4 Narcomoebas. That's actually, I would never say that's bad. But it may not be great because I need to hit them for the Satoru plan. But I think the Poxwalkers is good enough. but all 4 Narcomoeba. I don't think I've ever actually done that before. So now the plan is to, I could just make an enormous battlefield and then pass, and he has no good cards in his hand. But if I can win with Thassa's Oracle, why not do it, right? So I'm counting, I've got all 3 Bridge from Below. I cast a Therapy, which gives me 3 zombies. I name the other card I know, Fleshraker, and it looks like he draws a Basalt Monolith. Some Dredge players organize their battlefield, like putting the graveyard in the front, mine's on the side. If you want more Dredge content, first of all, say so. Second, if you have a preference on how I show my battlefield, also let me know. I'm going for the Satoru line. I dredge the Grave Troll, and I find the Thoracle. Got another... Every time I cast Therapy, I'm sacrificing a Poxwalkers. It immediately comes back, because that's how the rules work. And I hit 3 zombies, which also triggers Satoru. And so now I'm at the stage where I need to count my library. This is turn 2, by the way. So I'm counting my library. I'm thinking, okay, I need to get enough cards on the battlefield. But I also already have, if you can see there, I already have enough blue for the from the Narcomoebas to win with the cards in my library. So he goes ahead and scoops it up. Pretty fast game 1, which is usually how it goes with Dredge. Let's go ahead and check out game number 2. Funny thing about game number 2, before I show it, is what I mentioned at the beginning, which is you need to accurately predict the counter your opponent is going to make to your deck, because you're very fragile, very much a glass cannon. And let's just say I predict wrong. I saw colorless cards. Usually they play certain types of graveyard hate in the form of artifacts. And I knew he had Kozilek's Command, which targets cards in the graveyard. So I'm like, okay, here's what I want to do. And I was not prepared. I would play that you are not prepared if I had it. Because my opponent's like, okay, keep Leyline of the Void. I'm like, well, technically any deck can play this in their sideboard. And he came prepared. So I'm like, well, I did not sideboard the right cards in. So I'm pretty sure my deck just does nothing. I did not bring anything that removes a permanent. So big mistake on my end. My opponent has a decent start as well. I guess I decided to take a draw step just to see, okay, what's happening here. I brought my anti Kozilek's Command card. Yay, how good's that looking? Nice Leyline.
Whoopsie.
Well, my opponent has no pressure on me, but I'm not going to be able to play a fair game of Magic and win this game. It's just not going to happen. I'm sitting there looking at my hand. I'm like, is this worth playing? I don't think so. So I decided to scoop it up. Let's see what game 3 looks like. Okay, here we go. He has Leyline again. I don't remember what the mulligans were, but I at least came prepared. So I have a Cephalid Coliseum, one of the best lands in the deck. It does so many things. Chain of Vapor on the instep with no permanents for him to copy. Pretty good. Now I can start doing things. Now, my opponent is by no means out of this game just because I answered his sideboard card. His deck has other powerful things he can do. And I need to find a fast... Ooh, that is very good. So this is turn 2. I found the thing, but I am at the mercy of how good my dredges are. But drawing 4 cards, pretty strong. As you can see there, that's pretty good. I need to find a therapy. Oh, I did. Okay, so I discard the rest of my hand because X is 0, so I keep 0 cards left over in my hand. So now what I need to do is, I only hit 1 therapy, so it's not great. I can put some power on the battlefield. I don't see Dread Return. So even though that Satoru is there, looks like it's not going to happen. But I do think of all the possible dredges, this was not the worst. So I get 2 zombies, 2 Poxwalkers. Is that enough to win? I am naming blind here. I can't remember what I name. Maybe Karn the Great Creator. Don't remember what I name. But I think my hand was better. I fixed my sideboard plan. I think I didn't name it. And I said I was thinking about naming it. What did I name? I probably named Kozilek's Command. That's probably what I named. But in hindsight, I think I was probably like, I should have named that. I was already thinking about it. And right there, my opponent has 4 mana. Planar Nexus is quite a magic card, and that would be pretty strong. He just goes Karn, nuke your graveyard. So I'm at the mercy, or he can actually do more than that. Ooh, Candelabra. My opponent's deck is very strong, and I'm quite impressed. So he's got a floating mana. He's got 4 floating mana. So he makes 4, pays 3 down to 1, untaps 2 lands. I should have only tapped 1 land, but so now he's got 3. Okay, anyway. So he's going to play Karn, and I'm going to die. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 power, which is good. But is it good enough to defeat my opponent? And it looks like, oh, is he able to do both? I think that's what I'm not sure. By doing that, he kills the bridges, because whenever my opponent's creatures die, the bridges are exiled. Yeah, he can do both. So he just goes and gets a crypt here, and he's able to do it by putting Fleshraker in play first, so he kind of gets that engine online. Now I'm not so sure my clock is good enough. So without my graveyard, I have really no action to look for, and I've only got what I have on the battlefield. So as good as I thought my turn 1 and 2 was, it didn't quite do, like I either needed double Cabal Therapy or I needed to find Dread Return right there. If I had Dread Return, I think the game was over. I don't think that's worth playing 3 Dread Return, though, because you don't want to draw it too many times. Although it wouldn't be the worst, because even if you're just Dread Returning a Ox or a Troll, that's like sometimes good. So I can draw 4 and keep 1. It's not bad. So I kept a card. I'm not sure what it was. But I guess it's okay, because I also have the Cephalid Coliseum. Okay, so I'm still in the game. That's good. I've dealt with Karn. My opponent's still at 20 life. That's not good. Second Fleshraker, that's going to be a problem. I could just be dead here. He just goes like, spell, 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 you're dead. We'll just make sure the life totals are right. And has a billion mana. The 1 ring. Oof. Oof. So we're like, oh, you take 4. Not 2, because each one is dealing 2, and it's making 2. So I'm like, oh, that's really good. So he draws a card. If he finds another spell, or 2, I think 2 spells, I'm dead, right? So 4, 8. So does he have 2 spells? That's 1 spell. Ouch. Glaring Fleshraker is very strong. Oh, and I'm tapped out. I am dead. So that was an interesting game too. Shows how strong my opponent's deck is. I think my deck, once I fixed my game plan of my sideboard, I wasn't just dead. I actually was doing something. I think I played the turns right, fixed the sideboard. My opponent's hand was just a little bit too strong. I'm not sure. I might have made a mistake. It wasn't clear to me what it was. I think the mistake was not hitting a second therapy or dread return. But all in all, I still like how the deck performed, especially game 1. Let's go ahead and check round number 2. I don't remember if I win the die roll here. Don't think nope, I did not. So, turn 1, Tamiyo. So I played this deck last time against it, and it destroyed me. I was playing a fair deck. While I think it can be winnable, it's just got so many angles of attack. Now I am the aggressor. I'm trying to be faster than my opponent. He's playing a Painter Servant combo Tamiyo Artifact Synergy deck. Turn 1 Careful Study is a fine, if I have a follow-up here, which I do. So it's very likely I drew into one of those 2 cards. So this is where like Lion's Eye Diamond wouldn't have been as good, because I couldn't actually cast the breakthrough. You have to have the breakthrough, the diamond, and the land all in your hand at the same time, whereas I can go Careful Study, dig deeper into whatever I'm looking for. So pretty good. Not sure if did I do all 4 draws there? I actually didn't catch it. Let me rewind just to smidge it. Yeah, I did. Okay. So I hit a Narcomoeba, which is good. I hit a therapy, or 2 therapies. Did I hit any bridges? I don't see... 1 bridge from below. I pulled it out there in the front. So I hit a bridge from below. I do have a Dread Return, but I don't see a Satoru. That doesn't mean you have to do it. I could Dread Return this Oxybagonus, although I don't think I'll have enough. Yeah, I won't have quite enough creatures, or not even close. But I think it's worth looking in his hand. Do I blind name a power card? I think I name Emery. So I do brick. So now I got to decide, are any of these cards worth naming with my one Zambi? I decide no, I think I need the creature for further dredges. Especially if I hit a Poxwalker. So this is where double Poxwalkers is better. If I dredge into a Poxwalker and I sacrifice the zombie to cast a therapy, then that will bring the Poxwalkers back. I can stack for more things. So that is good. There's the Poxwalkers. Second bridge. That's a pretty good dredge. That's basically exactly what I needed, except for not having Satoru. But I can at least like go through enough of my library and generate a lot of power, take his hand out. So I know one of the cards in his hand. I can't remember what I name. Was it Sink into Stupor? I think it was Sink into Stupor. My opponent is deciding what to do here. He could cast his counterspell. Oh, I named the counterspell. Okay. That's fair enough. So he drew another Cameo, his Painter Servant. Yeah. Okay, so I decided to dread return something. I just immediately get back the things I sacrifice. I'm targeting the Ox. So here my opponent is looking, I guess, for a counterspell. So I took the counterspell. That's going to be good for me. So I discard the one dredger. I dredge 6. There's Satoru, but I've already used one of the 2 dread returns. It's a little late. You know, maybe a third dread return's not the worst. Okay, so I hit more Cabal Therapies, which is actually the main thing I want. I just want to make a bunch of power. I want to take out his hand and be able to kill him on probably 1 attack step, if not 2, and where he has no good top deck outs. All right, so I'm looking through my graveyard of goodies. I've got all 3 bridges. I hit another Narcomoeba. And when Narcomoeba comes into play, that triggers pop. No. It's because I'm casting therapy. So there I named Sink Stupor. He drew Thoughtcast from his clue. Those are all good cards. I'm going to make sure I have my zombie count correct. I don't think I hit... Oh, I did hit Hogak. Okay, so I've got a lot of power. So basically I just need to take his hand out if I have any therapies left, which I'm not sure I do. I have another Dread Return. So what do I Dread Return here? Do I just get a big Troll? Do I get Satoru and keep dredging for a 1 or 2 more therapies? Can't remember what I do here. I think I would go for Satoru here, honestly. Because the Thoracle line is out. So I gave him another turn. So I decided I guess that was good enough. Did not use Dread Return. And I let him keep his Thoughtcast. I'm actually not a fan of that. I think I should have kept going. I knew he didn't have Counterspell. I should have just kept going. Because now, although I don't really know his deck list, I could, if he assembles the Grindstone combo, I'm dead. Flips Tameo and pluses it. Help stem the bleeding just a bit. It appears my opponent did not find the combo pieces, and I may have just a little bit too much power, even with the plus. So let's count it up. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 plus 7 is 16, 17, 18, and 19. So I have 19 power, including the Tameo minus. I think that's kind of what we're seeing, the writing on the wall there. Make sure 2, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh, now I'm only counting 16. Let me try again. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, no, I had it right the first time. But even if it was just 16, as long as I don't attack Tameo. So I don't have any more trolls left. Hit another Narcomoeba. That doesn't really matter. Actually, wait, can I just... how many cards do I have left? Can I just Thoracle? I think that's not smart. I should just attack, yeah. Because if he had some kind of removal, take enough blue away for the devotion. Okay, so that ends game 2. Again, very strong game 1 deck. Hopefully I learned some lessons for sideboarding. Okay, round 2. My opponent's sideboard cards are going to be better than mine. An overall game plan, so I have to hope I can at least steal a game 3 if I can't pull this one off. My draw here is decent. Yeah, not bad. Wish I had a follow-up, but that's okay. As long as my opponent doesn't have any graveyard hate right now. I think Dredge is overall pretty good against counterspells. So it makes up for the fact that it's so soft to graveyard hate. At least it's like not nearly as bad against counterspells. But my Dredge was not great. But I do think I have just enough. And like I said, good against counterspells. Make sure I had, threshold. Okay, Narcomoeba was good. I did not hit another Dredge card. So that's not good. So I have to draw the last two and then discard three. So that's 1, 2, 3. So I have 2 Narcomoebas. No. Yeah, I did not hit any. Okay, that's decent. Okay, yeah, a decent follow-up. As I say, not good against counterspells. I guess I said good against counterspells.
Whoops. Whoopsie.
But even with all that, you're a little bit mercy of the variance of your dredges. But that could have been much worse. I could have just had nothing. It does feel bad we don't dredge into more dredgers, which is what makes me a little cautious of cutting any dredgers. The One Ring. Oh no. Hope I brought in my Flaring Pain. All right, so I dredge 6. And nothing good, really. My hand is probably just a bunch of nothing. Ooh, I can cast Ox. I like that. My opponent is playing Counterspell deck, and I did just get done talking about how good I am against Counterspells, and I'm going to lose to it. He draws, has Force of Will. Brutal. But Ox of Agonis is good at coming back. I'm looking at what he has for his Emery. He did have to burn some mana to do that. So I'm like, all right, I've got nothing better to do. Attack you. His Cameo was tapped. Ooh.
I'm in danger.
That was brutal. What a top deck. And I'm like, yeah, good game. I guess I didn't want to play anymore. Let's go ahead and check out game number 3. All right, can I blow out turn 1? There's the ley line. Always the ley line. At least I'm prepared. All right, so playing the full 8, helping me dig into my sideboard cards. I like it. Got these useless Narcomoebas and I'm guessing an extra dredger because that's a thug. All right, still digging for sideboard cards. Got a bunch of dredgers in my hand. Got a breakthrough. Not very good. Like which 2? I think just 2 dredgers. I just got to find an answer to this ley line before my opponent finds a combo. It's going to be tough though because the more time I give him, the more likely he is to find his combo. So this stops Emery and maybe a sideboard card he has, but it's really just against Emery. I'm not sure I like that decision. This is an example of my sideboard plan wasn't great, and it might be time to just take out the Silent Gravestones. I'm not sure. I mean, with how popular Reanimator is, I still kind of like it. And I'm just going to lose to these sagas. Like, just these sagas are going to kill me. Pretty sure that's how this game is going to go. I got nothing going on. Yeah, I'm not even sure at this point I can, even if I find an answer. So my opponent appears to be... how many cards do you have? 1, 2, 3, 4. He's playing, and he's got another saga in his hand. So the thing that says trigger, these are the construct tokens. So if he has any extra, I think he's floating at least 1 mana. So he can get a boots and beat me down, or does he get graveyard hate? I think that's what we're talking about. So he's pulled boots up to the front, so he's considering it. Yeah, I think I agree with this. You still have Leyline just sitting there. I have to answer Leyline. So put the pressure on me. And even if I can answer Leyline, I've burned so many resources to try to find the answer. I don't have anything to dredge, and I can miss my dredges. I like his game plan here. Triple Urza Saga apparently can win games of Magic the Gathering. Is this just legal? 7. So 8, 9. Is that math right? 8, 16, 17. Yeah, okay. I guess that's right. So he attacks first, then gets rid of an artifact. Makes sense. And I'm just like, yeah, you got it. I could have burned and drew some more cards, but like, what am I going to do? So, one game one again, couldn't quite get it out. I think bringing in the, I was too worried about Emery because it beat me in the last tournament. And I was like, that was a bad game plan, and we're seeing it happen. All right, let's go to the last round. Complete the gauntlet. My friend and I were playing. He wanted to play my Miracles deck that I've been featuring, so now you get to see both. We were testing out a few changes, mainly one main board, Mischievous Archive, I believe. That's the name of the card, yep. So turn one Ponder, my opponent is trying to pretend as if he doesn't know what he's playing against game one, etc. But I do think it's always right to just try to find at least one counterspell, because if Legacy is very powerful. You want to not die on turn 1 or 2. So you need to, if you're playing a control deck that wants to get to the late game, establish a lock of control, you need to survive, and that's the best way to do it. Even if as I've been arguing that my deck is good against counterspells, blah, 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 I do believe that doesn't mean they're useless. Even just countering that careful study would have put me down a whole turn. So Ponder number 2, I see a Force of Negation. So I don't know if my opponent needs lands, but that Force of Negation is appealing. So it looks like he did take it. My opponent has a Force in his hand, a Brainstorm, a Teferi. That's not great. So that's probably what you're going to pitch to Force. And I hit Cabal Therapy, no creature. And there's Counterspell. There we go. So that's going to save him maybe a whole turn if I have nothing else. And I don't. So I kept at least a double draw 2, discard 2 hand. I think is right. Okay, Narset Partivales is an interesting card here. I think it's good. If I haven't drawn a card, every time I would draw and I can dredge, I can still place that would have been draw with dredge. Narset doesn't stop that. However, if I take a natural draw, if I was going to play a card to draw more cards, I actually cannot dredge because I cannot take the draw to replace. If that makes sense. So it's a weird technical ruling between dredge and Narset Partivales. Okay, this is a must counter, and he used it already. So that kind of worked out nice for me. There's no Narcomoeba yet, so that's not good. Oh, no. Oh, there's no more dredge cards. So what happens here is I have to draw the remaining 3 cards, but I can only draw 1 of the remaining 3. So I went dredge 5, draw 1, discard my hand. So not great, but I think I'm in an okay position. Because I still have dredgers in my graveyard. My opponent, I mean, I know this, but even not knowing this, has no real graveyard hate game number 1. He takes Jace off the Narset activation, ponders again, finds another Force Negation, which at this point in the game is probably not great. I think my opponent wants lands, so I would shuffle here. He did not hit any lands. But he decides to keep the Force. I mean, that's reasonable. I think you just want lands. Okay, so I dredge 6. Kind of hit nothing. So even though my graveyard has some good cards, I can't use them yet because I don't have any mana to flash back a Faithless Looting or whatever. And I haven't hit any creatures. So this is where an Icarid would have been good from earlier in the game. So we have an intern Brainstorm, but it looks like he is Brainstorm locked. So it's a little unfortunate. I would have shuffled that Ponder. That's still sitting out there. But my opponent's not in the worst position. As soon as I hit a Narcomoeba, it's going to be bad news. But my opponent does have 2 Swords to Plowshares in their hand. Narcomoeba hits the battlefield on my draw step. So he can plow it. He wanted to set up a miracle to put a clock on me, but he doesn't have double white. And it's like feeling that basic land only mana base there, not having a Tundra. So he plays it back to basics. It's an interesting choice. I guess just nothing else to spend his mana on. Although I don't love not holding up that Source to Plowshares for that line I was talking about. So more goodies that I can't utilize. These dredges are not working out for me. given that my opponent has not the best draw either. I have not been able to capitalize and punish. Finally, we did it. But, alas, my opponent knows the right thing. I actually might be locked out. I might need to take some natural draws, but then I can't dredge. It's a little weird. This Narset is really messing up my game plan.
I'm in danger.
My opponent has Jace mana, so it's a little bit of a risk to tap out and go for it in case I had a second Narcomoeba, but then Jace acts as a sort of potential clock. My opponent does have Force Negation, I guess, although at this point in the game it's not great. So do you brainstorm to find more lands and stuff or not? So I guess he does. I see a Portent. So it is brainstorm lock again, but he can set up a miracle if he needs it. And Portent the next turn can shuffle. Dredge 6, no Narcomoeba. Oof. This is awkward. What an awkward game of Legacy. This is quite a game of Legacy. Okay, so what I need to do is hit an Narcomoeba and him forget about his Swords to Plowshares.
That was the plan. Not a great plan.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not even sure what choice I made that didn't work out. I would have kept the hand. Yeah, I don't know. I want to blame it on bad dredge luck, but there might have been something somewhere I did. It didn't work. What a weird game this is. Okay, I'm under a Jace. I'm under a Narset. Technically, I'm also under Back to Basics, but it doesn't really matter. Yeah, there are a lot of decisions to consider when playing this deck, and it's not easy. I did kind of custom build it to me, so like I know it intrinsically, and he's just like picking it up and playing it. So, and he's still beating me. I'm almost out of a library. I think I'm trying to figure out how many Narcomoebas are left in my deck, how much that even matters. So he's going to make us both draw and discard, but I can choose to dredge. There's the Narcomoeba and its last card in my library. So it just doesn't matter, right? Yeah, it just doesn't matter. And I have no library, so the game is over. What a weird game of Magic the Gathering. Let's check out game number 2. Okay, at least I get to be on the play. I'm not really sure what my sideboard plan is. I do know my opponent's deck, but we're supposed to be playing as if I don't. If I was playing against a blue-white control-ish deck, blue-white-green or blue-white-black, I don't want to cut my discard. They could easily have like a Rest in Peace or something. It's actually kind of tricky. I don't really want to saturate my hand with those remove permanent cards. Okay, so I hit 2 Narcomoebas, and this could be good if I find a good payoff. So I cast a Blind Therapy. That's weird. It's a weird decision. And I have that's a weird decision. Why did I do that? I have a Cephalid Coliseum in my hand. Wouldn't it be better just to do that? I guess I could potentially shred his hand apart. Is that what I'm thinking? So my opponent has a counterspell here. If it's Force of Negation, it's fine. I see Force of Will. Oh, I named Force of Will. Nice.
Oh, yeah. It's all coming together.
So I'm doing some, I guess, math on, like, do I want to use it now? Do I care about the cards in your hand? Etc. I guess I decide the answer is no. Oh, and my opponent did surveil at the top, so it kind of matters. Force of Negation. Okay. Not bad. So we got to ponder. I can't see. Decides it's a shuffle anyway, so it doesn't matter. What would I be looking for here? Another land? Does he have no lands in his hand? I don't know. It's an interesting game. This game's already much better than the first game. Although, I do think Terminus is good against my deck. What I don't remember is if I took out the Thoracle plan, because it takes up a lot of cards in the deck, so if I'm bringing Somber cards in, something's got to go. So I did a pretty bad oopsie. I was in a habit of bringing in Gemstone Cavern game 2, because I usually win game 1. And I did it there, even though I'm on the play, game 2.
Whoops. Whoopsie.
So all sorts of bet. Like, I think the main board is well built, plus or minus 1 card. Sideboard, I probably need some work. But man, my execution has not been great. So it's good we're getting this practice in. I really enjoy playing the deck, though. It is quite fun. So why would I not use Cephalid Coliseum here? I guess I'm playing the long game. I don't want to lose my lands when I can flash back these lootings. I think I should just go as fast as I can go. I don't know if I like this game plan here, but I'm on it. Okay, so get a troll and another troll. Okay, it's pretty decent. Gotta discard 3, so probably just 3 trolls, right? Oh no, I have some gas in my hand I discarded. Okay, that makes sense. Alright, so what am I doing here? Doing another therapy. So I sacrifice, cast therapy. I get 1 Poxwalkers and 1 or 2 zombies. I didn't see the second bridge. Oh, I see now. And lands. Okay, my opponent is not having a good draw. He had to burn a lot of resources to use the counter spells. And now I have a Hogak. That's going to be a problem. So I need to hope my opponent does not find a Terminus if he left any in. Which I would leave at least 2, if not all 3. But again, the deck's kind of weird. Okay, Source Plowshares is a pretty good draw here. So you can at least deal with Hogak. You probably want... I would have probably done it on my turn because it keeps me from being able to use Hogak. But I probably wouldn't use Hogak. I have Poxwalkers. So my opponent really needs Terminus to survive. There's not going to be a fast win my opponent has, so he just needs to clear the board, drop a Planeswalker or something. Okay, so to clear my attacks, he casts Source Plowshares on the Hogak, takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which is still a lot of damage. And what else do I got going on over there? I don't see Dread return. So I attack first, and then I Dredge. That's interesting. Guess it doesn't really matter. So I've got all these... So did I leave it in? I've got all these therapies, but my opponent has all lands. It's not super great. I think I'm just trying to... Okay, so this is for making zombies. Makes sense. Do I leave 1 left? So 3, 6 zombies, yep. This is a different kind of win. It's just kind of grinding down. Trying to capitalize on my opponent's bad draw. I think at this point it's Terminus or bust. I can't really think of anything else that would help my opponent here. 5 light, yeah. So it's either draw Terminus here or draw cards that draw you into Terminus on my turn. Yeah, something like that. So Consigned to Memory. It's an interesting choice. It can stop an Ox trigger. It can stop some key triggers. I don't know that I like it, but I understand it. I don't actually have a lot of, even though these are like my 2 decks, I don't have a lot of experience them playing against each other. So it's not the most obvious thing. Oh, he has a chance to, okay, so he has a chance here to rip a Terminus. And he ripped an island and says GG. So I won my first post-board game. And I don't know if I can really say I won this game versus my opponent just lost a lot of lands. All right, let's check out the final game. All right, we're doing it. A final game. I need a draw and Dredge much. Okay, so I have triple draw. I think at least 2 lands. So my hand's like fine. It's got enough like juice to keep going. My opponent mulliganed pretty low. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 cards. My opponent mulliganed 5. I think both the decks mulligan fairly well. Dredge mulligan's better probably. But I think for a control deck that control decks typically don't like to mulligan, I think this control deck mulligans decently well. Okay, so I have Cabal Therapy, 2. I have 3 blue cards. I can't really tell what they are. At least 1, 2, 3 Careful Study. Well, okay then. So I have a good hand. Am I able to win? So I unmask my opponent. Interesting. Already on a multiple 5. I guess that makes sense. Double negation. So I make a boo-boo here. Oh, he lets me take it back. Thank you. So I mess up again.
Whoops. Whoopsie.
Because I had the therapy to just shred his hand out. So I did the play. I finally did it. Since this wasn't an official tournament, we were doing a gauntlet. He's like, for the sake, this is what I was supposed to do. Take all your counter spells. I got to do the thing I put the cards in the deck to do. Anyway, so my opponent has no hand. I should be able to win this game. And if I can't win this game, I don't deserve to win this game. That is solid logic. Okay, so careful study into discarded Dredger. Oh, okay. So I'm saying that, I have prior first, but when I cast it, he's going to extract all my Dredge card, all my Golgari Grave Troll, my biggest Dredge card, which is not bad. That's of all the cards to find, it was a decent one. So now I don't get to Dredge. My hand is another Careful Study and another Cabal Therapy, and I have a Cephalic Coliseum, so I'm still feeling overall good about the game. But he decides to go after... So when you surgical, there's really two ways to do it. Go after a payoff card or go after the Dredgers. Most of the time it's going after the Dredgers because that's the enabler, and if they're low on them like I am, it slows the game down. And there's enough payoff cards that trying to stop them aren't great. I discard the Therapy at this point. I don't really need it. I didn't see the other card I found. I think it was a Faithless Looting, which helps dig me into more Dredgers. There are still 8 left in the deck, which, given how slow I know my opponent's deck is, I think it's good enough to win. Hopefully, we can pull out the W. So, shuffle. No, that's a mill. Okay. Oh, what a draw. Now it's me. I am on the clock. I find no Dredge cards. I find Saturo. I find bad draws. I needed those to be Dredgers. I actually don't know that I like discarding the land there because I have this Faithless Looting. Nothing. Wow. I think I should have kept the land. I don't know what my last card is, though. It's a Saturo. Interesting. Satoru. Okay, so I found the... Yeah, I think I made a mistake. I think I should have kept the land. Discard the Satoru. The land can flash back the lootings. So now I'm going to be on block mode. Ugh, terrible. And the land could have cast Stinkweed into Triumph of St. Catherine. Man, I really thought I was going to win this game. So now I'm just draw 3, discard 3. That's awful. Okay, that was decent. That was decent. So I found another land. I found Petal. I decided to keep the Petal because it doesn't cost life, I guess. And then I have a Breakthrough. Okay, this is decent, but I don't have enough. I don't have as many Dredgers in the deck, so the odds of bricking are decent. All right, first draw. I brought in that. Yeah, I didn't hit the Dredger, so I'm like rats. And I got draw 3 and discard my hand. There's the so close. Okay, so if I cast Therapy, Poxwalkers comes tapped, and I need a blocker. And he has Source Plowshares, didn't matter. So I go up to 4, he attacks me down to 5, and that is the game. So it was definitely an interesting set of games. I learned a lot. I think my biggest takeaway, besides some gameplay errors I made, especially in that last game, was to update the sideboard and more so make, not just saying, here are cards for these matchups and against these cards. Rather, I need a plan to say, here is a package of swaps. I actually prefer decks built that way. So I'm going to probably retool the entire sideboard. The main board is, I think, correct plus or minus a card. So is it like, do I go to a 4th Unmask? Do I try to fit in a 3rd Dread Return? Do I want at least 1 Icarid? So, or just as is. So those are the things I'm considering. I already went down to 3 bridges, and I've actually liked it. It's been fine. I haven't needed the 4th bridge. So let me know what you guys think. If you want to see more of this, leave a comment, and thanks for watching.